What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James with Minhunter Comics, and I'm talking about comics that people don't like to get rid of, the most reluctant to sell books that are out there. We narrowed it to 100, but I want you to drop in the comments below what is a book from your collection that there's absolutely no way you're thinking about getting rid of it. Just to let you know, every single book I'm about to mention on this list, I am paying crazy extra on. These are the 100 books that I really gotta try to get. And it's hard, you gotta pay up, and I'm willing to do it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's kick it off with Action. We're going alphabetical. Action 252, first Supergirl. People don't get rid of it. Brainiac, that's even worse, 242. And frankly, I think there's just less of them out there than 252. Adventure into Fear 19, first Howard the Duck. Amazing Fantasy 15, no surprise here, first Spider-Man. Any Alex Schomburg cover. It can be from his best works to his worst. It doesn't matter, you're not getting it. All-American Comics 61, first appearance of Solomon Grundy. People do not like to sell that one off. All-Star Comics, number 8. As you can imagine, another tough one. All-Star Western, number 10, first Jonah Hex. Aquaman number 1. You can get the other Aquamans in, even Black Manta, even Ocean Master, but people don't like to sell number 1. Amazing Spider-Man number 1. Again, shocker there. Amazing Spider-Man number 3, my favorite Spider-Man key, first Doc Ock. Amazing Spider-Man 14, first Green Goblin. I lumped these two together, 121 and 122, so the full Death of Gwen Stacy arc, people are very reluctant to sell. 129, rightly so, first appearance of Punisher. 194, believe it or not, this is a lot cheaper than those other ones, but first Black Cat, people love the character and therefore they don't like to get rid of her. 238, especially if it has tattoos, the first appearance of Hobgoblin, people do like to hoard. 252, many of these printed, and yet it is still hard to get your hands on them. Sometimes this one even more than those early keys. People do not like to sell ASM 300. Tough to get. Oh, almost forgot to mention ASM 50, especially right now. First Kingpin, that's a really hard one to get your hands on in any grade. Of all the annuals, ASM annual number 1, first Sinister 6. This is a nightmare. Whenever I do get it in, I'm always blown away by the price, even in the worst condition possible. This thing has crazy value. Avengers 1, Avengers 4, crazy voice crack just now, yikes, and Avengers 8. You can get every other Avengers key, even the Silver Age stuff, over and over and over again, but those 3 are the ones no one ever sells. Batman 121. What's it take to get a Mr. Freeze up in here? 232, first Ra's al Ghul. 251, you're probably wondering where's 227. Weirdly enough, I've actually gotten my hands on 10 to 15 copies before, so Batman Adventures 12, first Harley Quinn. Very recent entry on the list, but people do not like to get rid of that. Brave and the Bold 28, first Justice League. Just missed a shot at getting one a couple weeks ago. 54 from Brave and the Bold, first Teen Titans, is another one people like to hoard. Caliber Presents number 1. This is like the actual first appearance of Crow. Good luck. And obviously, let's mention Crow number 1. Really hard to pry that from the hands of a collector for sure. Cerebus number 1. This is the indie grail, if you will. Up there with Zap number 1 and TMNT number 1. This is a nightmare to get. Clone Wars. People do not sell off their first Ahsoka Tano. Kamiko Primer number 2. I also think people don't like to sell this first Grendel, but there's frankly just not that much of it anyway. Conan number 1. I almost put 23 and 24, but I do get those in. Daredevil 1 and Daredevil 4. These are the Silver Age Daredevils that you're not getting. Also, I was almost going to put 7 on there, but I have gotten that in before. And then obviously Daredevil 131, first Bullseye, and Daredevil 168, first Elektra. Those are the ones that people will hoard. Demon number 1. Another one that's very popular. This has a cult following. Detective 400, first Man-Bat. Good luck prying that from a detective collector. Detective 140. You really won't be seeing that anytime soon. Detective 168, another one. 225, Martian Manhunter. That's another one. First Batgirl, Detective 359. And even though this one's so much lighter in scale than the other ones, people love the art on Detective 880. They don't like letting it go. Edge of Spider-Verse 2, the Greg Land variant. Good luck getting your hands on that. Eerie, number 1, considered the first horror. Fantastic Four, number 1, duh. Fantastic Four, number 5, duh. But also Fantastic Four, 48 and 49, which is funny because it's the most submitted book from that year to grading companies. So they're out there, but still people do not like to sell those. Flash, 139. Good luck with that, Professor Zoom. Green Lantern, 1 and 7 are the toughest ones. I'm going to lump also in 16 there for Star Sapphire. And actually, I didn't even write it down, but 87, First John Stewart, that's a tough one to get. Giant Size X-Men 1. People do not like selling that one. Same with, it's later in the list, but I'll mention it now, X-Men 94. I've gotten every X-Men book under the sun 50 times, but those are the books that I never get in. Hawkman, number 4, First Zatanna. House of Secrets, 92. People love their first appearance of Swamp Thing. Hulk, 181. I do get 180s in, I don't get 181. Hulk, number 1. Duh. Iron Fist 14 is another one that people hoard. Iron Man 55, Double Key, First Drax and Thanos. That's a big one. Joker number 1. People don't like getting rid of that either. Journey into Mystery 83, duh. And 85, duh. Some of these are pretty obvious. Justice League number 1. I get a lot of the Silver Age stuff in, but people don't like parting with number 1. The Last of Us number 1. The video game stuff, that's one that people do not like to get rid of. Mad number 1, back when it was a comic book before a magazine. Marvel Family number 1, First Black Adam. Marvel Preview number 7, the actual first appearance of Rocket Raccoon. Marvel Spotlight number 5, Ghost Rider. For some reason, people are more likely to sell off Golden Age keys than this thing. People love their Ghost Rider. Any Matt Baker cover, you know him from Phantom Lady. Maximum Carnage, number 1. Another video game one. Mr. Miracle, number 1, is a really hard one to get in. Most Mortal Kombats, more video game entries here. People do not like to get rid of their Mortal Kombat stuff. My Greatest Adventure 80, First Doom Patrol. NYX 3. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten so many near complete runs, and 3 is always missing. But Mega Man 3, a lot cheaper than some of these other entries. Also a one that I usually find in near mint, but it's hard to get that without paying practically the full price. Phantom Stranger, number 1 from 1952. Yikes, that's a tough one. Saga, number 1. My indie lovers. You love that book. Savage Tales Mag, number 1. First Man-Thing. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, number 1. Side note, I've been hunting a high-grade copy of this my whole life. Never found one. Showcase 22. First Carol Ferris, Abin Sur, and most importantly, Hal Jordan. People don't like to sell that. Showcase 4 is even harder, and I think there's just less of them. First Barry Allen. Yeah, it's a big one. Silver Surfer number 4. People do not like to sell that gorgeous cover. Spider-Man number 1, the Platinum. I don't get that in ever. Star Trek number 1. Trekkies hold on to this for dear life. It's also really the only Star Trek book with value. Star Wars number 1. I get 2 through the end of the run frequently, actually. They cost a lot, but I do get them. People don't like to get rid of 1. Strange Adventures 180. That's a really tough one to get in. Same with Strange Adventures 205. Those two, good luck. Strange Tales 110. First Doc Strange. I feel like I just said strange so many times in the last minute. Superboy 68, the first appearance of Bizarro. It's not the Bizarro we know, it's Superboy Bizarro, but it's the same thing, it's Bizarro. Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes, the 1 in 25, I think, variant of 23. It's an Adam Hughes. It's one of his most sought after. Not many people have it. That's a tough one. Swamp Thing number 1. As well as Swamp Thing 37. John Constantine goes quite far. Tales of Suspense 39. Say it with me, duh. Tales to Astonish 27. Another duh. Teen Titans 12. Very recent entry. And This will often be the one where people have these modern collections and they can't get rid of that one. Even with the book being down so much. Strange. Thanos 13, first Cosmic Ghost Rider. They don't like getting rid of that one either. TMNT #1, first print. I've had crazy luck with TMNT #1. I've had every printing under the sun come my way. I've probably had like 10 third printings pass my hands in the last couple years. Never the first print. Tomb of Drak 10, first Blade. Even with the book going down, people still aren't really selling that. You'd be surprised with how many collections I buy that I still am not able to get a UF for. People don't like selling that one. And it's also one that's typically graded, not raw. Uncharted #1, the Adam Hughes variant. We got a number of video game entries on this list. People don't get rid of that. Vampirella #1. Vampy fans, hold on to this one for life. Walking Dead #1, really hard to get in. Again, I get in 2 through the end of the run from time to time, never #1. I just realized, did I not have Invincible #1 on here? Let's add that in. Werewolf by Night 32. I've had this book in once. First appearance of Moon Knight, that's a nightmare. Marvel Spotlight #2. First Werewolf by Night. Wolverine 145, the rare Sienkiewicz variant right there. Yikes, that's a tough one to get your hands on. People do not like to sell that. This is a weird one too. There are so many of these out there, but people hold on to them. Wolverine #1, the Frank Miller Limited. X-Men #1, say it with me, duh. X-Men #4, I still have never had a #4. First Scarlet Witch, people don't get rid of that. They just don't. What are some books that you are never getting rid of? Drop it down below. Don't forget, feel free to email me if you have 1, 2, or all of these. Whew, that would be really great. I'm buying and I'm paying better than anyone else. So reach out to me if you got them. Keep on hunting, keep on hoarding, and I'll see you at the next video. Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles, located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too. Can't wait to see you there.